Hey guys, welcome back to Pillbox Movies. I'm Hank, and today we're going to be watching the 1972 film All the Colors of the Dark. This is a classic giallo film from Italian filmmaker Sergio Martino. The movie stars giallo icon Edwige Fenech. I have actually not seen any, movies starring Fenech. I am not the most well versed in giallo films, but I figure, hey, it's October, why don't we check it out? So yeah, without further ado, let's watch All the Colors of the Dark. And before we get started, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more old, obscure, and art house films. If you haven't already, take a look at my Patreon, consider becoming a member maybe. It helps me make these videos and you get access to a couple more fun quirks and all of that. Edwige Fenech. Boom. Oh, cool. It's very restrained. Usually when people think of giallo, they think of like explosiveness and gore and shattering effects, but there's a lot to the kind of stillness and restraint in the other section, the majority of what composes a giallo film. Jesus, you really gotta get to it. Oh my god! What dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil. Oh, I love that effect. Is that a contact of some sort? Beautiful. One thing you can't say about giallo is that it is not beautiful. So we have a crone, a maiden, and a mother. I love that tilt up. It's just so erotic and so voyeuristic. At least her makeup hasn't smudged.
No, Richard, ti prego, non andartene.
Ti prego.
E va bene. Resterò qui e aspetterò che ti
I really like so far how luxurious the camera movements are. They're very slow, lackadaisical. It really kind of enters you into this dreamlike state that is, of course, punctuated by those moments of violence, those extreme camera movements, such as in her dream. But everything early on in this film is so slow and suggestive. It's not the nudity that's arousing, it's the movement, the gentle caress. The turn of the head. And I love this framing, leaving his side of the bed exposed and bare.
Su, calmati adesso. Calmati, Jane. Il tuo fisico non si è ancora ripreso dopo l'intervento operatorio.
An operation. And she had a dream about operations too, like pregnancy.
Aver perso un bambino in quel modo.
Yeah, she had a miscarriage. Uh-oh.
Vuole solo aiutarmi.
Imbottendoti di vitamine.
Lui mi ama, lo so, ma non mi può capire.
I love the wide-angle lenses they use for like to punctuate like frightening moments. And the kind of monochrome of the dream world. It's all very kind of stated, intentional, like artistically alienating. This is so fun. Some of this is reminding me of sequences from Thriller, A Cruel Picture. Just this use of slow motion. Always feeling like her baby's being attacked.
Per Richard tutto deriva dall'incidente d'auto in cui ho perso il bambino.
Un aborto?
Sì.
E da allora lei non riesce
riesce ad avere dei rapporti completi con il suo uomo, è così?
Ma come faccio a dirlo a Richard? Credo che finirebbe con l'odiarmi.
Pause. This is kind of like the Babadook, and I'm not sure how the film will progress and how much it'll tie back into this story of her unwanted pregnancy. But I do like how some horror films take as like a locus, because they focus on kind of like the psychological torments of its protagonist, and because in some ways horror is a more gender equal genre than others. It allows this space to explore female issues, sometimes mostly through the lens of like male writers or male directors, but it at least creates a venue in which kind of taboo female subjects can be discussed, as in the case with Babadook, of depression and single parenthood, and here in the case of Jane, her miscarriage, or not her miscarriage, her abortion. And so I don't know if it'll really, how much it'll tie back into the film, if the film will have, you know, hang-ups of being from, you know, an Italian filmmaker or whatever, or general conservatism regarding female anatomy and female issues. But still, the space is open, and I'm wondering if they're going to use that space to carefully and considerately observe these issues.
Ne è proprio certa?
Era di là, seduto.
There was nobody else in the other room.
Potrà dirla, signora.
Era qui, ne sono sicura.
Somebody's gaslighting you.
Il suo peggior nemico è la solitudine, pertanto non pensi di essere né pazza né visionaria. I veri pazzi sono quelli che non pensano di esserlo.
See, I think this is actually a weird suggestion that he's making. Perhaps helpful, but strange to think that she would be a danger to herself or a threat in solitude. Because, I don't know, it speaks to this thing of, like, women having to be constantly socialized. They're not allowed to be alone with their feelings. They have to cohabitate in order to fix themselves. I do wonder if that's something the film will suggest. I highly doubt it, but because it's like a horror film, it's like a danger film. You shouldn't be on your own, but I wonder if that's something that's baked into it, if we're gonna explore this as being like a woman's story. Edwige Fenech, I think she plays really well into, her face plays really well into kind of like the smoothness, the kind of alluring and like manipulating softness of this film, deceitful softness of this film. Everybody's looking to go through that one door? Okay. This is a nice little companion piece as well to blow up. An Italian filmmaker making a movie in London, in England, and kind of seeing that city through that particular lens. Oh, beautiful. It's only Vittorio Storaro's lensing this.
Cosa vuole da me? Che cosa vuole da me? Ma che cosa vuole da me?
Il tè per me è ancora un rito sociale e odio prenderlo da sola.
Non so, forse non dovrei.
E presto, sono appena le 5.
D'accordo, vada per il tè. Qualcuno mi ha seguito fin qui con insistenza.
Io ho paura invece che venga il tempo in cui gli uomini non mi seguiranno più.
Whatever lighting intensity they've set up, they've done really well to kind of like bring out some brown highlights in her eyes.
Sì, grazie. Ciao, Mary.
Ciao, Jane.
Those little tints of red.
Jane, ma che succede?
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
La tua logica è divertente.
Dovresti occuparti un po' meno di Jane e un po' più di te, Barbara. La tratti come se fosse ancora una ragazzina. E lei da sola non è capace di prendere una decisione.
Tu non fossi andato a sbattere con la macchina contro quell'albero. Jane non avrebbe problemi.
Anch'io ho avuto i miei problemi e ne sono uscita fuori completamente.
Ma come hai fatto?
Lo sai che cos'è un sabbath?
What?
Mi fai paura.
I wasn't expecting it to
Anche la
take this
paura ha
turn.
senso.
When your friends invite you to a Black Sabbath, do not go. Do not go. Do not go. Do not go. Ain't having it. Ain't having it. What kind of fruity thing is he gonna do to this dog? Shame, shame, shame. There's a French movie from around this time, short, starring Julie Berthoud. What's it called? Something in Paris. Juliet in Paris? It also has a animal stabbing scene. By what metric? By what measure? With what proof? Girl, a little too suggestible, girl. I don't know what's worse, stripping her down nude, or why did she get dressed like this? Or the open-eyed kissing. Beginning to doubt more and more that this will be about Jane's individual psychology or her kind of cultural position as a woman. This is what English people are like, though. I won't deny that. Pasty with bad teeth? This is gonna be her first sexual experience since her abortion? Ugh. Fucked up shit. That's some fucked up shit. Ooh, is it a Rosemary's Baby kind of situation? Where now she's having sex with her husband?
Oh, Richard. Amore, amore mio.
Ora è tutto come prima, Jane.
Non mi sembra vero, Richard, non mi sembra vero.
Domani mi prendo un giorno di festa e andiamo a pranzo fuori. Vuoi?
She's a little too hot. This just keeps happening to her. She's like Laurie Strode.
Taxi! Calvin Harcourt!
He definitely is showing up enough where you're like, is this going on in her head? But there is the earlier scene at the psychiatrist's office to cast doubt upon that theory. I don't know how much like psychotic episodes would be like in vogue at this time, but there are a couple of movies like in the 70s that kind of are based in this conceit, like The Haunting of Julia or The Witch That Lived by the Sea. So like that could be at play, but also like if this is to be a giallo setup, I actually do wonder if the her friend at the psychiatrist's office is maybe a part of this conspiracy, but not so sure.
Ah, sei qui. Ma si può sapere che ti è successo?
In some ways, this does, it is like a cool like proto Rosemary's Baby. Okay, so apparently I was being a real dum-dum when I was recording this with regards to Roman Polanski. I totally forgot that Rosemary's Baby came before All the Colors of the Dark in 1968. I also forgot the granddaddy inspiration for a lot of these psychotic women narratives, that being 1965's Repulsion, starring the luminous Catherine Deneuve. Like even the actor for Richard kind of looks a little bit like John Cassavetes. This is like in not really similar ways, but in comparable ways. focusing on a woman's like
L'ho dovuto chiamare da un telefono vicino.
isolation
Cosa
and
c'è
her
di
growing like madness, her how that interfaces with psychiatry, how that interfaces with her own like femininity in Rosemary's case, her pregnancy, in this case her like her abortion. And her frigidness after the fact. Obviously, in contrast, Jane is like inviting these kind of satanic, ritualistic experiences, whereas Rosemary is trying to escape them. I would not want to be fingered by that. I wouldn't. This is very... pause a second. This is a very Italian kind of like treatment of sexuality and of guilt. Because like this isn't Dario Argento and Daria Nicolodi. Like this isn't a male and female duo writing this, so I don't really know how much is like can really be offered of like the female perspective in this case. But like it is very much I think trying to be on Jane's side, it is presenting a vision of female sexuality that kind of falls into like Italian Catholicism, like Christianity in general, that she feels guilt over her abortion, and that makes her feel guilty about her sexuality in general, and it kind of like binding her sexual desires with guilt. She feels like she needs to be degraded in order to have sexual liberation, and so she's like embracing the satanic cult because they are like providing like a dark avenue with which she can explore her sexuality, which makes her feel like safer to return to it with her husband Richard. I don't know if it's going to go further in that direction, but that's what I'm seeing right now. Very Madonna whore. I suppose on the plus side, it can be said that at least it's like a bit about like sexual liberation, but always with the caveat that this is like being paired with like the evil of this storyline. But it is sexual liberation. And that is something that can be, like, again, with the abortion, something that can be explored within, like, the negative space or the illegitimate space of horror films. Just gonna sit on it. That's some symbolism right there. Symbolic of the Romans, symbolic of the Roman generals who would lay down on their own swords.
Tutto questo non può essere vero. È disgustoso.
Indeed it is. Saint Nicholas. Uh-oh, she has a tattoo now.
Così bene che ho preferito non svegliarti. A questa sera. Ti amo tanto, Richard.
She has an eye tattoo. Can you see it? We see it. You maybe should take off your clothes to check to see if you have any other tattoos. Love that shot. Just really thoughtful to put that together. I mean, I'm sure they just had set up some bricks and then set a fire within it and shot behind that, but still, having the foresight to think we wanted inside the fireplace shot to kind of illustrate her descent into hell. That's a beautiful rack focus. Come on, this shot is right out of Mulholland Drive.
Paura. Ho tanta paura.
Tanta paura.
Sì, aspetto.
And these like camera moves are becoming more and more anxious. There's just a little bit more speed to them, a little bit more urgency. Oh, beautiful, beautifully lensed. Just her reflection coming into the window. Well, I don't think this is necessarily the most imaginatively script movie I've ever seen. Like, I actually think that the camera work is spectacular, and just that fully red room, beautiful. I don't know what's the logic behind it, like how that would exist in universe, but it's Richard. It's Richard, or it's the nurse. Who's it gonna be? Beautiful use of reflections in this sequence, and rack focuses, just like focusing in and out of the foreground and background. This sequence has been so brilliantly filmed. And for whatever reason, the red of the room, it reminds me of The Conformists. It was 2 years earlier. Maybe 1 year earlier, 1971. Funeral Parade of Roses. It's a dream. Wake up. You gotta wake up. It's a dream. Yeah, the use of focusing and unfocusing the lens is really great and kind of evoking shifts in both in perspective, but also like the mental state in the film, in the scene. Dottore. Oh, beautiful movement, beautiful movement.
Allora anche questo è frutto dell'allucinazione.
Ma no, creda a me, signora. Lei ora ha solo un gran bisogno di
I
dormire.
really like this kind of claustrophobic shot, kind of like the fireplace shot again, framing them with the doorway to show how constricted and claustrophobic she is.
L'accompagno io in un posto tranquillo. Come mai suo marito la lascia così spesso sola?
Sa, lavora. Fa il rappresentante. È costretto a viaggiare.
Yeah, so representing the isolation again of this woman, that she's left alone to her own devices, that her husband is away constantly. So this is I guess, like another way, or perhaps a better way of executing on that statement he made earlier that she shouldn't be on her own, that the isolation she feels is actually a result of strains that she has with her husband.
È la mia villa di campagna.
And the white of his country house kind of alludes to the black and white of her dreams, perhaps. Perhaps the white of a mental institution? Maybe she's been in an asylum this entire time?
Signora?
And again, the motif of stairs being a place of threat, of danger. And all of these dividing lines, the windows, the harp.
Signora? Signora?
Why would they need to set them up like that? Was that really necessary?
È qui. Li ha uccisi.
Prima al telefono è la sua sorella.
L'ho capito.
Quell'individuo non mi piace per niente. Forse
Why not
sarà
him?
una sensazione, ma...
Because of their like separation or whatever. That he constantly leaves her isolated. That'd be, if that's the case, that would be interesting. Another tie-in between this and Rosemary's Baby, that the husband has been in on the conspiracy this entire time. No, it's a psychiatrist who's in on it. Richard's following him to save his wife. Have to reaffirm those Christian ideals. Throw the boiling pot at him.
Guarda questo coltello. È quello che ha ucciso tua madre.
Non è vero, no! No!
If so, that knife has
Tu hai
been well
varcato i
maintained.
limiti della realtà, Jane. Non puoi più tornare indietro. Ora la verità è in te.
Vattene, maledetto, vattene!
Truth is within you. It's another tie-in with like an idea of pregnancy that she's gestating something that she doesn't want inside of herself, and she's gonna have to abort it.
Dottore! Dottor Barton!
He's dead. He's been killed. How would he have gotten there so fast?
Richard!
Jane!
Let's have a baby, Jane. Let's give birth to the Antichrist. Vertigo lighting. Vertigo lighting. Who else is left? The cult leader? Some beautiful rack focuses in this movie. Absolutely stunning. Her sister Barbara's kind of a freak. She lives her own life.
Io.
Tu sai.
Sì.
Come?
Non dovevi farti vedere nuda quel giorno.
He saw a tattoo on her.
Voglio dire che quelli segnati come te non dovrebbero mai farsi vedere nudi.
I don't know if he would be looking that direction.
Ma di me.
Yeah, ultimately it reaffirms the orthodoxy of a husband and wife,
Io sono tua, Richard. E tu l'hai sempre
with
saputo.
nobody interfering, not psychiatrists, not neighbors, not even
Una
family.
volta capirà.
I guess that should have been a clue early on if we use like lines, like
La nostra ideale.
vertical lines as a signal of like something that's obstructing the smoothness, the circularity,
Non sarai più
the roundness and softness of
così
Jane's world, then we should have known that
diventerai
Barbara's world with the beads,
Noi
a mixture of
siamo
the
più
soft and
forti di quanto tu possa immaginare.
the vertical. Now, where did he get a gun?
Ce ne andremo dall'ingresso principale. Vedrai. Nessuno penserà a fermarci. Vestiti.
And how, oh my god, so close to the camera. And how like bright and glossy everything is
Su,
now.
andiamo, vieni.
It feels like a dreamscape.
Appoggiati a me.
It feels like the final act of Road to Perdition. I mean, that is literally happening, but it also feels like dreamlike. Even with that shaft of light.
Accidenti. Devono aver lasciato la porta aperta. Aspetta qui.
Stairs, stairs, stairs. Everybody's afraid of stairs. I don't know, I guess you get tired going up that high. I love how slow aspects of this movie are, how much it takes its time building dread and anticipation.
Richard!
Aw, now it'll look like she killed him. Oh no. You really should have been rubbing your dead husband's body so fervently.
Vai, John, aiutate quella donna. Niente, un caso misterioso.
This has to be a dream, right? All this is happening so fast.
Senta, possiamo pubblicarlo sui giornali?
Più tardi.
Man, Edwige Fenech must have been such a huge inspiration for the Love Witch, for the look that
Jane, mi senti?
for the look that Ann Biller constructed for Samantha Robinson.
Sto sognando.
Oh no, it's not working. I'll have to head up and get it.
Ascensore!
Was she having visions? Because she did have a vision of her own, like, murder.
Hanno lasciato la porta aperta. Aspettami qui.
You could stop it this time. This is the part of the movie where it's like, it ties in whether or not, like, there's just, like, a conspiracy or there are supernatural elements at play.
Vissuto questo momento. Richard! Fermati, Richard!
And I suppose speaks to the line that they said that she has the truth inside her now, and that truth is kind of precognitive vision. It is odd to me to have it ending so in such a like a mundane way after so much of the movie has been about this kind of like psychedelic supernatural plane, to have it end in such a like a concrete pedestrian way on a rooftop in London. Ooh. But all of it being kind of like in the real world, in like a noticeably drab kind of way comparatively. But maybe that's saying like the dream world is over.
L'ho sempre saputo, non so perché. Oh, Richard, ho paura. Ho paura di non essere più me stessa.
Please stay with me.
Aiutami.
These are the first lines of the movie, right? I don't think it's intending some sort of like, you know, this has all been a dream, it's all been a cycle sort of thing. But it is like reflecting back the first few lines of the movie. Her once again calling for help to her husband. Interesting movie. Very, very interesting. I feel like it's not the scariest movie I've ever seen. Let's be clear about that. But like really, really wonderfully lensed, wonderfully shot. I think aspects of it feel like precursors to future movies. Some of it feels referential to older movies. I think like maybe they had like a viewing of Psycho previous to this.
Sembra che l'uomo che uccise sua madre, morto in Nuova Zelanda 2 mesi fa, abbia nominato lei e sua sorella eredi di una discreta fortuna.
Parts of it feel like it shares like a lineage, like distant cousins perhaps to Rosemary's Baby, and also tying into kind of like 70s woman having a nervous breakdown kind of movies like The Haunting of Julia, or I can't remember what some of these other movies are. Haunting of Julia is the one with Mia Farrow as well, though, right? The Innocents is another good example, I think. I mean, I certainly think in general, perhaps not this movie in particular, but the look of Edwige Fenech is iconic, and I'm sure Anna Biller took inspiration from that in her conception of the Love Witch. Yeah, I really liked some of the fantasy sequences. I think it's a little bit too tied into the first half of the movie, but I could also see like thematically like it's peeling away those dreamscape indecipherable kind of moments into like the cold reality as the film progresses, not necessarily in a bad way, like kind of like opening itself back to the real world and like returning to reality with this character. I don't know if that's like satisfying per se, because it kind of like it's kind of like pulling the rug out from under you. Usually the most pyrotechnical elements of a movie should be reserved for the end of a movie rather than just the beginning. Yeah, cinematography is excellent. While not really geared towards like very horrific, necessarily horror-filled images, really evocative, beautifully shot, very dreamy, very slow and indolent, and the cult aspect of it is obviously dispatched a little bit too unceremoniously. I don't think they really offered like a striking adversary to Jane and to Richard. So the cult thing doesn't really tie into it at the end, but at the end they kind of like reaffirm like this unity of husband and wife thing where they're ready to love each other and they're ready to care for each other. And so that cycle has been renewed by this process. I actually think in a strange way, it's not a happy ending about that. I do think like in a strange way, like their problems aren't solved, but they've used this traumatic episode to kind of like replenish or refuel their relationship. But the overall bedrock is still not firm. He still needs to go out to work and stuff. Her inheritance will probably run out at some point. Like they still have this like undercurrent of distrust with each other. And I think to a certain degree that is echoed in the end with her saying that she needs him and that he has to help her, and him once again not responding to her. I actually think that's a trickier ending than I would have expected. So I do like that aspect. Yeah, that was an interesting movie. Very giallo-ish, very atmospheric. Satanic Panic shit is a bunch of nonsense, but it always is. Even in the movies that take it seriously. And yeah, beautiful vehicle for Edwige Fenech. Yeah, that was All the Colors of the Dark. Let me know if you've seen it, what you think about the movie, if you have any suggestions of other horror movies, maybe giallo movies you think I should check out. In the meantime, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more old, obscure, and art house films. And until next time, keep watching good movies.